And here we go.
5, 4, 3.
Call to me, lands far away.
Elves have forests to protect.
We need to build a wall.
Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other.
For I must now wander this wandering day.
We're safe.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel.
No.
Put up your sword.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples.
Everyone!
I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Away I must wander this wandering day.
To him finally being lionized in the prime, and his prime. Fuck.
Do it!
Shit.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Luke went from being... Oh, no. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I have some great news for you today. I hope you're all doing great. Nope, that didn't work. One more.
You have failed me for the last time.
Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope...
If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.
That is eating away at what you love in order for it to shine. And one man's vision is... Sometimes you don't have to make things better for them to be great again. You merely have to Okay. Hollywood continues to slow boil the culture and crazy. Well, right now, Spider-Man actor Andrew Garfield has stepped up and he's fighting motherfucker.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
And unbearded dwarves, but Prime didn't stop there. They stapled in intersectionality, individuality, biddiga-dig-bee, biddiga-dig-boo.
So it begins.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, George the Giant Slayer.
What's going on, everybody? We're back. Welcome. I'm your host, George Mola. This is Slayer Unchained, and it is February 19th, 2025, in the year of our Lord, and it is a great day. It's cold again. This little Arctic blast has come into Texas, and it's cold. Sorry that I was late. I had to get everything taken care of in the house. The dog had to go outside. For some reason, he loves the cold, and he loves the water. He's just like, oh, no. I'm like, it's 30. He's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Anyway. He thinks it's great to be out in this weather. Eric K, King of the Mods, is here. Everybody, talk about a man with a beautiful soul. Josh Hammond, Olaf, another one of our great mods. Lord Thoth will be here. We got Debbie Schoen. How you doing, Debbie? Christine Childress, Alex G, Tune the News. All of you. Amazing people. Thomas, hail to you, my friend. And we're going to cover a lot today. President Trump is kicking ass and taking names. Hollywood is having a little bit of a panic attack. Playboy, of all things, came to its senses. It realized that a magazine that was built for men to look at beautiful women, forget all that BS about reading the articles. Yeah, the articles were cool. I never bought that line. They're like, I read Playboy for the articles. Yeah, no, I didn't. I looked at it for the pictures. But Playboy is back after losing money and nearly going bankrupt by showing your next door neighbor's dad in fishnets. Now they have women again. Unbelievable. There's rumors that Dune 4 is moving forward. You got Snow White's Rachel Ziegler, the numbers for her opening weekend. But let's just say the poison apple is going to be the hero of the entire show. And that's who everyone is rooting for. There's a lot of crazy going on. We got DOGE, USAID, Social Security, $4.7 trillion. I'll repeat that again, not a B with a billion. $4.7 trillion was uncovered in the last few days, and nobody knows who the hell got the money. But Musk and President Trump are determined to get to the bottom of it. Toxic Waltz, how are you doing? Your dog likes cheese. My dog likes cheese, but he loves the water. He's a beagle, but it's cold. I don't want him to catch a cold. I put him in his little, cold weather outfit, and first thing he did, he ran out into the grass and where it was wet, and he just started rolling in the water. I'm like, come on. It's like the third time. It's like having a kid. Don't go play in the mud. I'm like, whoop. That's what I used to do as a kid, by the way. I would. If there was a mud puddle outside, my ass would jump in it and just play. I loved it. Frank, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's just get going. We're going to start fueling those flamethrowers to roast the stupid and have a lot of fun. Spit out the facts. Let's bring them in. We got Verbal Riot is joining us again, and Tom for Midnight's Edge. How you doing? Oh, you cut your hair.
Yeah,
new
man.
Look, new look for a new year, huh?
It was time.
You look
the fro was bugging me a little bit, so I had to cut it off.
You got that kind of hard equalizer Denzel look about you now. You're ready to take them on. You're ready to take everybody on. What you doing, Tom? You just disappeared.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Come on, let's see your beautiful face. Everybody wants to see you. There you go. Enjoy your wonderful takes. I thought it was, we're going to go through a few clips, but Verbal shared something that just stunned me. I shouldn't be shocked anymore.
Which one, man? I mean,
there's a lot of stuff. We're going to get to it. We got Cynthia Erivo, Wicked star. You remember Skeletor? Yeah, well, we're going to talk about her. But first, the mayor of L.A.
I'm going to go to Ghana, which I know you've said was a mistake now. But I just am curious on the thought process behind it.
Right.
Because we know that there was warnings about the weather before you went, and you still went. What was the thought process behind going to Ghana?
So let me just tell you a couple of things. First of all, when the White House,
the scam capital of the world.
Oh, that's one thing, but it gets better. We'll just jump ahead because he really wants to know why you went to Ghana. And the mayor, I think it's right here, explains what she's going to do about going to Ghana.
Anna wins a lot. But predicting this, and you saw, we from the city, from the county, that level of preparation really didn't happen. So it didn't reach that level to me to say something terrible could happen and maybe you shouldn't have gone on the trip.
Why didn't
But
it
to
happen?
me, I don't know. I mean, I think that that's one of the things we need to look at. So 2 investigations are taking place. One internal to the city, and that's the fire commission, because that's mandated by the city charter. So the commission will hire an outside entity to examine everything, the pre-deployment, why were staffs.
Bottom line, she's going to be investigating, as Roy will put it, why she went to Ghana.
No, why they made her go to Ghana.
I know why they made it. It's like, come on, what's next? Well, it's like why she breathes air, why she tripped over her. I mean, come on. Why?
Or put another way, why they made her go on vacation.
Right. I mean, how tone deaf do you have to be? How many people lost their homes, and instead of taking care and fixing everything, she's like, well, I got to investigate why they sent me to Ghana. What the hell was up with that? I mean, what do the people of LA think about that?
I think at this point, man, at least from what I could tell, the people of LA are just kind of tired of it. Like, at this point, she can say whatever she wants. Even though no one's really saying the quiet part out loud, I think for the most part, a lot of people in LA are kind of like, it's time to just get these people out. Her, Gavin Newsom, get them all out.
I know it's just, but I mean, there's a level you think once they've, dug the hole and they've dug deeper, and she just keeps digging. Does she actually expect anyone, with your experience of LA politics and the way people react, does she actually expect anyone to take that seriously?
Oh yeah, of course she does. But you have to remember, man, like she's had 4 years of Biden's bullshit to believe this. Like she actually believes this stuff because for 4 years or maybe a little bit more, they've been winning, right? So she really believes that she's in the right, and no matter what she, failed to do, that she'll be, forgiven because she's a black woman.
I'm going to investigate why I'm going to investigate next why I'm fat. It's because I ate a lot. I mean, it's like why she went on a trip to come on.
It's one of those things where, man, honestly, she and probably a lot of people like her right now. I would say a lot of people in her position here in LA are kind of scrambling to keep their jobs. So
it's just hard to fathom. But then we had Mark Hamill, your favorite big mouth, who I used to love as a kid playing Luke Skywalker, had a little bit of a tough time in the UK.
So what makes us love cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight? For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere.
That is embarrassing, man.
I know, it's like, aren't you supposed to dress for your performance properly before you get out there? It's like maybe he was a peeping Tom in his life. I don't know. It's just something weird. Once a peeping Tom, always a peeping Tom. I don't know. It's just odd. He had to keep reaching for his pants. Like, oh, they're falling off. They're falling. It's just nuts.
I mean, unless there was a chick behind the podium that we can't see that was trying to go on, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, we got to watch it one more time. Just one more time.
Cinema so much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight. For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely.
And we lose our pants.
What? We lose our pants.
And we lose our pants.
Of cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London.
Oh my God.
So
dude,
what makes us...
I feel bad for him. I'm not going to lie.
You do feel bad for him? I don't. I would have felt bad for him if he hadn't become such a big mouth over the last few years.
I mean, I agree, man. But to see a man lose his dignity like that.
What dignity? Does he have any dignity left? I mean, it's like no one knows. Maybe Pedro is under there.
Or maybe, yeah.
Because Pedro got a new role, which I can't believe it. What is it with Pedro Pascal? It's like, well, when I saw your post, it was deleted. It was the first post of mine that was deleted. I put, man, his knees must hurt. And an hour later, it was gone. It vanished. I was like, damn. Pedro fans don't like that, or X didn't like that, but yeah, that was so let's take a look at Pedro Pascal's latest trailer. I just don't know. I liked him in Game of Thrones with his character. I thought he's a good television actor, but I don't believe he has that presence, that character, charisma, whatever you want to call it, that it factor that is supposed to be a movie star. It just doesn't, for me, hold together. But here is his latest outing. I think it's called Freaky Tales. It looks almost like a cross between a Rashomon story and a wannabe Pulp Fiction / Warriors. I don't know. Kind of odd.
The underdog believes he can do the impossible. Defeat the bully, sell enough mixtapes to get out of the hood. But I can say with certainty, this underdog has seen his last day.
I mean, have you seen this happen before? I mean, we've seen Hollywood verbal push someone, like, again, a Rachel Zegler. We've seen them go through other actors and actresses.
Oh, man.
They try to push
Worthington. We've seen this for the longest time now.
But this level, I don't remember it being this heavy of a push for an actor. I mean, with Pedro, I mean, we're talking about what, Marvel,
It's
Star Wars.
twofold. He's got a big social media following, which was what Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's kid were talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a known enough name that he can get funding for a movie.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, that and he plays the Hollywood game.
Yeah.
Which is more important, his social media following or playing the Hollywood game?
And he's got whoever does his schedule, bravo. I don't know anybody who can fit in that much work.
Yeah,
he does.
I agree.
Well, wait, wasn't it like that in the past with like John Wayne? I mean,
some people have been able to manage something like this. Yeah, but not to like in this modern day and age with the way things are, like to have as many roles as he does in a year. Whoever does his scheduling, superb.
Okay, awesome.
Even verbal, like you said, yeah, because he knows what I mean. Like, you're lucky if you can get more than 2 movies in a year with most people, maybe 3 tops.
Yeah, because you're talking reshoots. You're talking like, I mean, I don't know how he does it.
Well, then I guess on that hand, bravo to him. Corbin Dallas, member for a month. Hey, awesome. You've been a member for a month, and there goes my camera.
Then again, he does this much crap. He probably has his own private plane.
Or he gets the studio. Hi.
True.
Well, hi to you, Corbin. Corbin Dallas. Cool name. One of my favorite movies, The Fifth Element. Love it. Luc Besson, brilliant director. And Bruce Willis in his prime. We got Graph Web for $2 for the Lord's sake. Canceled Disney Plus. I love him. I'm just going to say it. I love Graph Web. Graph Web is just dedicated, passionate, and determined. And I admire the hell out of that. And then we have Eric K, King of the Mods for $2. Mark wanted everyone to see the little lightsaber.
He was forcing us to?
But there you go. He was forcing us to. Oh.
Yo, wait, hold up. We got to take it from the top.
We got one more job for you. Sleepy Floyd, Warriors point guard. His house is going to be empty on game night. He's got a vault full of ancient Asian artifacts.
Yesterday was the last job.
What does this remind you of? I feel like I've seen this before. It feels
is it
like
a true story, or is it just a...
I don't know.
No, it's just supposed to be like a 80s nostalgia.
Because this was what I was talking to you about, I think, the other day, George. Was like, you ever notice how all these movies nowadays are period pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can't make any modern films anymore. And I think the reason is because cell phones would make every movie damn near impossible anymore. They'd be over in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and by the way, let me just minimize this real quick. A friend of mine who works in Hollywood told me this yesterday, and I shared it with a friend of mine. Do you know what they are currently writing as a treatment? Now, if you need some whiskey or shot, I would prepare yourself, both of you, to take a drink. Since we're going through this whole 80s nostalgia bit, right? With Gremlins and Goonies, and we had the Beetlejuice. Well, it looks that Blues Brothers is coming back with Jack Black with Jack Black as Jake and Dan Aykroyd.
I'm not surprised.
I was bowled over. Come on.
They didn't learn their lesson from Blues Brothers 2000?
No, but it's supposed to be with kids, with their kids. Does that?
I'm not surprised.
Come on.
I'm not surprised either, to be honest with you.
Come on. Why don't we just remake Animal House then? I mean, the Blues Brothers is very niche. It's its own flavor, its own style. To have Blues Brothers.
Well, my question, George, is who is this for?
That's a great point. Who is Gremlins for? Goonies for?
Like the kids today have no idea who the Blues Brothers are.
Right.
Right? They barely know what Gremlins are. So who are they making these movies for?
I don't know. Maybe there's some crossover. Maybe they're just trying to grab everybody from Gen X because Tom has said it repeatedly. Once Beetlejuice was a hit, that kind of like opened the floodgates.
Yeah, well, we kind of were getting out of it, right? Like, because before that, Top Gun 2 was the only one that kind of was the exception to the rules outside of Cobra Kai on television, right? Because everything else they had tried had kind of failed. I mean, Ghostbusters was doing okay, but not enough to where I would say, oh yeah, the 80s nostalgia is back with a vengeance. Like, if anything, by the nostalgia clock, we should be hitting the early aughts by now. Like, that's the weird thing. We've been stuck in the 80s forever for some reason. If you don't count Jurassic Park, which is the only 90s franchise that's still kind of living on, right? I mean, it just makes no sense. Like,
That doesn't irk you, but that doesn't irk you to think of Jack Black as Jake?
I can't find it anywhere. So
I
I'm
know.
not sure where you heard it.
Yeah, I heard it from a friend of mine who works at a studio. Yeah,
like, I wouldn't be surprised.
They said it's because the Blues Brothers con has been so successful, where you had Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi go to whatchamacallit. They did a gig at Joliet where they do it every once in a while. They would do these tours, and they said they keep selling out. All the merchandise is gone, everything. And so they said the treatment for it was now in process.
It's the same thing that happened with Blues Brothers 2000. They were at the Super Bowl and all that stuff. It was kind of at a fever pitch with their nostalgia and their merchandise again. But then the movie came out and it was a complete and utter mess and a bomb.
Yeah, I said Tox. It's a friend of mine in Hollywood. That's the only source.
Yeah, I just don't see this working out as far as like it's. I'm with
because of the
Merle, though.
merchandise.
I'm not surprised. Like
They said it's because of the merchandising that it sells. It still sells. So it looks
so is
like
it just going to be Jack Black and Dan Aykroyd's kids? Or Jack
they
Black
told me
playing...
they said that Jack Black has been wanting to play this for 20 years and that he's behind the big push, that and merchandising. So
I'm just so tired of Jack Black at this point, man.
I am.
I just want him to retire. I want him to go away.
He's like the white Pedro Pascal.
He is.
He's not even trying anymore, man. Like he's just Jack Black in every film.
Isn't he doing Minecraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing. But you know what I will say? There is one Jack Black film that I love. One. It's the Stretchy Pants one, where I actually thought he wasn't Jack Black for a moment, where he was doing another role. Which one? The wrestling one.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah, Nacho Libre.
I mean, I like some of his films back in the day. And
yeah,
his
old
not
stuff was
wrong.
fine, man.
He's got like a shtick. He's kind of like Adam Sandler and some of these other guys. It's like once you see what he can do, it's like, okay, he can fit in these certain roles, but I don't really see. He's done a few things that were a little more dramatic, like Adam Sandler and some of these other guys, but really at the end of the day, they kind of really fit in this one role. And you can't just throw Jack Black into everything.
I know.
Like, that's the problem we're having. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. And it's like his Anaconda reboot that's coming out here is
really
sounds acinine as hell.
The one with John Voight?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're okay. So what this one is him and
J-Lo, John
Paul
Voight.
Rudd.
Okay.
What they are is it's a reboot cool kind of thing. It's not even. It's like they're making a movie, their own remake of Anaconda because they're such big fans of the movie. So they're like just regularly everyday Joes that are doing this. So that's
Yeah.
supposedly, I guess, the gimmick. And I'm assuming like a real anaconda shows up and wreaks havoc is the point.
Wow.
But anyhow, like that's the gimmick. And it's like, okay, we have gotten so way out there with some of these ideas.
So he's
But
going
it's
to
just-
get the snake. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Talitha, yes, they are remaking Labyrinth. I only have a little bit of hope for that because it's.
I'm not sure if it's a remake
Eggers.
or that one's a sequel.
Sequel,
so, yeah.
sequel. It's a sequel, not a remake. Correct.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's
it is.
Eggers who's making it, so I have a little bit more faith in that.
I'm really surprised they didn't deem that movie problematic, considering how young Jennifer Connelly was.
I've said that about a dozen times now, Verbal. But everybody's like, well, it's David Bowie. So, I mean, it's like, well, yeah, you'd got a point. Like, I made the point, like, everybody throws all kinds of shit out there about, you know, all the directors and actors who have ever done anything, but they never mention all the musicians unless it's R. Kelly, basically, or Michael Jackson. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of other musicians who have done a lot worse shit.
Well, okay, true, but I will say we are talking about a movie here, right? I mean, Bowie
True.
wasn't really
This is
going
just a
after
movie.
a 15-year-old girl, unlike R. Kelly.
Exactly.
You mean
it is the context, and it doesn't help that at
still
the time she
recovering,
really
damn it.
was 16. But yeah.
You even broke my camera and he froze it. He's like,
and David Bowie was like 40 something, but yeah.
I guess you could have the actual documentary of Art Kelly with a girl and then call it a Labyrinth. I don't know, or P. Diddy, or
You know, I mean, the thing about Labyrinth, though, for me is, at least it lends itself to where there could be a sequel, right? There's a lot of different directions you can go with that, and with the competent director and writer, it can make sense, right?
Yeah,
right.
So I'm not so much opposed to that as I am something like a Blues Brother remake.
Right. It's not something that screams for another remake or a reboot or a sequel or anything.
Only because no one knows what it is except for us.
Right. Here it is. I mean, here it is again. It's been confirmed multiple times. You have Eggers is doing it.
He's doing it after Verwolf, I guess. But
yeah, Verwolf is next, and then it's a sequel. So it's a sequel to Labyrinth.
And I'm with Verbal. Like, you can work with something here. I mean, Jennifer Connelly's at that age to where she can have a daughter that's the same age she was at the time of the first movie. I've had some people come up with some interesting ideas and takes for who could play the Goblin King. I said, I think an interesting take would be that, you know, after the end of the first film, even though the movie ends in a way that kind of doesn't open itself up for a sequel, that's the problem.
You know, they want Tilda Swinton. That's the fan.
That's the fan, but fuck with that, because me, it makes more sense to have like Willem Dafoe play like this depowered and old decrepit version of the Goblin King, right?
Yeah,
Take the music out of it.
That could be really interesting, you know.
Yeah,
or like you said, it could be Jennifer Connelly's daughter now is in the role, and
well, both things would intertwine. Was my point. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of logical ways you can go with making a sequel for this. I mean, which is good, but and it's Eggers, so there's a level of confidence there, right? Because we have a good director.
But I was talking. Yeah. What were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say, but I just think at this point, man, like I'm starting to. Well, I'm starting to. I mean, I've been burned out, but I'm getting a little bit more burned out with like all of this '80s nostalgia, because you're trying to reach Gen X, who, number one, you're not going to reach because we love those originals because of the characters and the actors who played them. A lot of those actors are either too old now or dead, right? And the generations after us don't even care about this. So who are you making it for?
Well, I've been looking the last few days because, you know, I've been sick. This is my third week. I'm now like just on the final stretches of it, feeling much better. And I was trying to find how many sequels, prequels they're making to old films. And I also found that Heat 2 is back up. Michael Mann.
Yeah. I talked about that for a while.
And because he wrote the novel, and it was a New York Times, it was on the New York Times bestseller list, and they're saying that they want Adam Driver to play the younger version of De Niro. That it's going to be a sequel, prequel, you know, with flashbacks.
That's what the book is too. Yeah.
So like The Godfather.
Oh yeah, well that's what the book is. The book is literally like it's a flashback mixed with it picks up right where the movie left off, and so the modern story would be following the Val Kilmer role, so they'd have to recast him.
Yeah.
And then, so then, like, as George said, the rest of the story, it goes back to the beginning of how they first
Right, but
you know what? I gotta say, if they're gonna recast Val Kilmer, man, Austin Butler would be ideal for that role.
What if they used him? What if they used him?
I mean, for a flashback?
No, not for the flashback. I was asking some people, the same person was telling me about the Blues Brothers, and because did you know during Top Gun Maverick that Tom Cruise had stopped filming it because he wanted Kilmer on it, and Kilmer had refused to do the role. But the story is that Cruise went to Kilmer, like personally went to his home and was like, I'm not going to do this movie without you. Then convinced.
Well, it's because he's so sick and shit. That's part of the problem too, which they played into the film.
Yeah.
But I think he needs the money, and there was some talk again. I don't do rumors. I've shared my second rumor, I think, now in 3.5 years. But the rumor is that they were looking at Kilmer to do like a narration because he was the only character that survived from the first one.
The guy can't even talk, man.
I agree with you, but it might be money. But,
although his son does sound almost exactly like he did when he was younger, which is weird. I don't know if you guys have heard, but
I didn't even know
because his son, I guess, narrated his documentary and also has done some like ADR work for him for other things too. I think even during the Doors thing when Oliver Stone did his definitive version or whatever on the 4K a couple years back or something like that. But
yeah, I never thought Heat 2 would come about the movie, but now they've popped it up. It's got its own IMDb page, and supposedly the production is moving forward. But here's my question: just like we used to trust Ridley Scott, I've always loved Michael Mann's films. Do you think he's going to go in that Ridley route, or is he someone you would have faith in still?
This isn't like Alien. Yeah, like I mean, this is a little different. This isn't like Ridley. I see where you're asking your question.
Yeah.
But the difference here is like Ridley was coming in trying to reclaim something that he had very little to do with in the first place. And then a lot of what we associated with Alien came from Aliens. And he was trying to reframe a lot of that. Michael Mann is just coming in and telling the stuff around the story that I think that he had probably kind of already knew way back when. And he's just kind of putting it because I remember him talking about wanting to do a sequel a sequel to Heat with Val Kilmer for years.
Right.
So I think this is kind of a mixture of that with this idea for a backstory that he had with De Niro's character and all that kind of stuff. It could be interesting. I haven't read it. Paulie of Latino Slant has, and he said it's really good. This is one of those things. I don't know if that's a real good comparison to make here because it does feel more like a Godfather situation where you're kind of re-jumping back into the story. The only difference is you don't have the same actors at your disposal.
Okay.
That's the only main difference.
Right.
But if you get good enough actors,
you could pull it off.
You might be able to pull it off. I mean, I'm trying to think of good examples for this where we've had like a movie and then they've done like a sequel years later with a completely different cast and it really worked out. I'm sure there's an example out there, but it's just not.
And we're talking about Michael Mann. I mean, the guy is, he's good at what he does. Which is crime dramas, right? I have a lot more faith in him than I would have in a Ridley Scott any day.
Okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying is like, I have faith in Michael Mann. I'm just hoping it doesn't go that route.
Because I mean, even like my least favorite of his, which is Miami Vice, was still good.
Oh, come on. You didn't like Miami
Vice?
No.
No. I'm saying least favorite.
I think that was just because he was trying to reinvent the wheel. And it's like, dude, you already invented the wheel. Like,
right.
Don't do it again.
Right. And it was still good. That's the thing. It's not my favorite, but it's still good. So, I mean, Michael Mann his track record is solid for me.
What about Collateral?
Yeah. Oh, love that movie.
A solid film.
God,
it's not my favorite of his, but like, no, and I agree with
Miami
Miami Vice comes off to me like when a band decides to re-record an album 30 years after the fact. It's just never quite the same. You might get a few sparks of coolness in there, but it's like, why is Pink Floyd re-recording The Wall?
I still love the original.
That's what it felt like to me. It's like, you're literally redoing your masterpiece. What are you doing? Like,
well, yeah, because the original Miami Vice, man, it was like what I call 80s cool. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was 80s cool.
Those first few episodes are just so amazing.
And you had to be there kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I never thought about it that way. Yeah, but it is.
Like,
I mean,
you had to be there.
I rewatched it last year. I mean, it was, I don't know if I enjoyed it because of nostalgia or because of the story, but I loved it. It's like
that pilot episode. I would put that up against any movie of that era.
I'm surprised they haven't redone it as a series.
Well, that's why doing it as a movie was silly. They should have redone it as a series if you're going to try it. I mean, but at that point, I think we would have had the same guttural reaction to it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, you have to remember that show. It was more than just like a crime show, man. Like it like set tones. Like trends were created because of that show. You know, I mean, it was something that was lightning in the bottle.
You see the seeds of it in Manhunter.
Yeah.
And then when that first pilot episode, because Verbal's right, because I was really young when that happened, and that even impacted, and to me, it was just like, I had no real sense of what it was. He's just right. It was just one of those waves of, it was almost like, you know, the first time I'm sure the world saw Madonna.
Yeah.
Right? It was just like, boom. That moment, everything changed. Girls were all dressing like that from that moment on. The moment Miami Vice came out, everything was that 80s cool. Like everybody was dressing like that. Everybody was listening to Phil Collins.
God, man. The blazer with the t-shirt.
Hey, I have a picture. Believe it or not. I will one day.
They make fun of it in that Wedding Singer movie, but it's true.
It was a thing, man.
I had I guess for lack of a better word, my uncle called. He came to pick me up one day. I was 14. He's like, "You look like I need to buy you an ice cream truck." I had the white suit, the jacket, you know.
There's only 3 people who can get away with wearing white.
Yeah, it
doctor, an ice cream seller, Don Johnson.
Yeah, it didn't work. He's like, dude, he goes, "You're Greek Texan. Get this the fuck off. You wear black. What is this white shit I'm wearing?" You know, I had the shades on. He's like, "I'm not."
Or a dentist, actually. Dentists are the one who wears white. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But not only that, I mean, not just the fashion, man. The music. Oh my God, the music from that show.
Oh yeah, amazing. That was amazing. So let's.
Dude, that was a show. Honestly, I think that put like Phil Collins in everybody's household.
Oh hell yeah! In the Air Tonight when he's driving the Ferrari. Come on, the first one before the Testarossa.
The Smuggler's Blues and
that.
Sorts. Don Henley and.
Hell yeah, that was
just tons of music and great shit.
That was music. Nick the Greek member for 3 months. Yes, Nico. Yes to you. Great to have you here. We got the Blitzen, the beautiful Blitzen with a beautiful soul. Gifted 10 Georgia Giants player memberships. Please, everybody. Hey, thank you.
Look at that,
Thank you. And Eric K, King of the Mods for $5. These comedians today are no Robin Williams for all-around acting talent. I agree.
No.
Talking about Jack Black. You know, Williams was rare. I miss him. Let's finish this Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, let's. Speaking of,
Did it? I'm done. You're done when we say you're done.
Fuck you. What happened next has been debated over the years. But this is the tale, as I know it to be.
Yeah, Phil Collins is sick. Yeah, he's suffering from. I saw it. He did his last concert. What was it? Someone correct me in the chat. It was either 6 months ago or 3 months ago. He couldn't stand, and I never read into why. But he has some type of either spinal injury or injury to his legs. But yeah, he can barely stand, and that was it. And I really wanted to see him again because I saw him in concert when he had come to Houston when I was younger. Especially I saw him with Genesis, and then I saw him with by himself.
I found it.
Did you see that? Yeah. That's so rad.
You don't expect it. Hi, I'm Sleepy Floyd.
Floyd's out there slicing people up with a sword.
Can you repeat that?
See, I don't know why some of this reminds me of like the spirit of Pulp Fiction, and also
it's kind of like somebody trying to do a Tarantino or what's his face who did Bullet Train.
What was the one, Slayers? It was with Morgan Freeman and not F. Murray Abraham. Was it Slayer? No. I'll think of it in a second. It's like that.
Wasn't every day a story like this hit the town.
There's too many of them.
That's bullshit. We fight.
But for those who lived through it, it became the stuff of legends.
So who's really the star, this dude or the Pedro Pascal character?
I don't know.
See, now, like, all of a sudden, through the middle of the trailer, it's switched, like where the hell's Pedro Pascal? All of a sudden, it's this other dude narrating and kind of in the main...
Or I think it might be an ensemble kind of thing.
I'm wondering if you're right, yeah, because I'm, like, trying to figure this out. Now, this trailer is really confusing as fuck.
But I will say, I'm interested. I mean, I'll check it out.
I like the tone, but... Yeah, I'm trying
Lucky number 11. That's what it is. Lucky number 7.
Oh, Lucky number 11. Yeah,
that's what this reminds me
that
of.
was with Josh Hartnett, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky number 11. I knew it was the Slay or Slev or something. Yeah, this is what this reminds me of. Lucky number 11.
Yeah, because clearly this guy with the baby is also another story.
Yes,
it might be like a Grand Theft Auto kind of thing where it's like different points of view kind of thing.
You like that's why I felt it had a little bit of that Rashomon.
Honestly, if they'd have just replaced Pedro Pascal with Nicolas Cage,
Ooh,
I'd be more interested.
That would be good.
Yeah,
I like Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage makes everything better.
He's just the right kind of crazy. Anyway, that's Pedro.
I have to admit, for me it looks really interesting. I'm enough for me to go watch in the theater.
It's not a sequel. I'll give it that.
And it looks like we're getting sequels galore.
Well, because it looks like something different. You know what I mean? So I'm always down to watch something different.
Well, and going back to our 80s discussion from before, like that's one thing. It's like, okay, it's great that you're trying to do this nostalgia thing, but did you forget one thing about us in the 80s? Almost all sequels suck.
Yeah.
There's this like Back to the Future and Star Wars were exceptions to the rules, not the rule.
Godfather
Right?
2, Empire Strikes Back.
That was all in the 70s, but like you look at like the Jaws sequels and all. Alien 3 came out in the 80s too, though.
What about
They're almost 80s?
T2?
T2 is the 90s, but still.
But
even then, there's still a few sequels, yes, but very rarely did we have those sequels that really lived up to the originals.
Good point.
Like, it was just, most of the time you're just like, oh, not another one.
Well, talking about crazy shit happening, Kevin Spacey came out today because Guy Pearce went after him.
Guy Pearce. I've now read the comments that you made about me, and while I would have preferred not to have to play this out in the media, you obviously have your own reasons for wanting to do exactly that. But we worked together a long time ago. You know, if I did something then that upset you, you could have reached out to me. We could have had that conversation.
Guy Pearce said that he was abused by Kevin Spacey, just to set the stage for everybody.
But instead, you've decided to speak to the press, who are now, of course, coming after me because they would like to know what my response is to the things that you said. You really want to know what my response is? Grow up. Did you also, by the way, tell the press that a year after we shot LA Confidential, you flew to Savannah, Georgia, while I was shooting Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil just to spend time with me? I mean, did you tell the press that too? Or does that not fit into the victim narrative you have going? So anyway, I apologize that I didn't get the message that you don't like spending time with me. I mean, maybe there was another reason, I don't know. But that doesn't make any sense that you would have just been leading me on, right? But here you are now on a mission some 28 years later, after I've been through hell and back, to do what? Just in time to stop the bad guy? Huh? Is that what's going on here? What took you so long? Did your horse run out of gas? I mean, you want to have a conversation?
How does what?
How does he convince me that he's telling the fucking truth all the time, even though people have died over this shit in the past? Because for those who don't know, like I read into this too last night a little bit. To me, this just comes off as the weirdest way ever that Guy Pearce is probably low-key coming out of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like the way what this is all about for a little bit of context is Guy Pearce is accusing him of
abusing him.
straight out say it, but it's like low key, like there evidently was unwanted advances, and he felt intimidated and frightened by him
because
and
he was a
gave
new
some,
actor. Yeah,
really generalized, blanketed kind of statements, right? And then when you start to hear this part of it, like, wait a minute, months after the fact, after you guys worked together, you went all the way out to Georgia to visit him on the set.
Yeah.
Sounds like a relationship that just didn't work out the way you were expecting it to.
Yep.
Or somebody wasn't expecting it to. I'll be honest with you. And that is nothing. I'm not like trying to make fun of him for being gay. We all know Kevin Spacey is gay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not,
nobody cares. No, nobody cares, but they've been coming after him for a while.
But I'm sorry,
now.
very rarely are you going to just go hang out with a buddy that you only just met for a little bit or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm hoping to meet Mikey soon, but I've known him for 5 fucking years. We finally going to get a chance to meet. I mean, yeah, this comes off really wonky to me. Like, I'm believing Kevin's side of the story here.
But Kevin, I will give it to him. He came out just straight. No, no bullshit around, both barrels blazing.
Happy to do so anytime, any place. We can even do it here live on X if you like. I've got nothing to hide. But Guy, you need to grow up. You are not a victim.
I kind of believe him too.
Yeah, I know.
I do too.
I kind of believe him. I'm like,
Well, Anthony Hopkins, I think it was 3 months ago, he was talking to someone and he basically stated, it was after, I don't know if you know this, but Anthony Hopkins composes music for years. He's also an artist, and his music was played. I think it was in Italy. You could see him there. The conductor played it for him, and it was a beautiful piece to hear. But a few days later, he was talking to a reporter, and he came out and he basically stated it's time to move on from Kevin Spacey. The man has his demons, like everybody has his demons. He did what he did, whatever that was. That's his.
And he spent his time in Hollywood jail
jail. That's exactly what he said. In Hollywood jail, it's time to move the fuck on.
Nothing has stuck to him. I mean, granted, like I said, there have been some weird deaths surrounding some of these things, but I mean, nothing else has really seemed to stick. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's innocent.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess you get to a point. Yeah, you're at a point where it's like, what are you going to do? Continue to make, this guy's a living hell for the rest of his life for something that nobody's even proven yet?
Right. And I would like to hear what Guy Pearce actually said to that reporter, but it's weird.
I can see if I can find the quotes.
Years later, you're talking about this?
Yeah, but it's the same way we've talked about. It's like Romeo and Juliet, the actress who played Juliet. She passed away, I think, 60 days ago. Mm-hmm. And after Brooke Shields came out 16 months ago stating the fact that she basically jumped on the Me Too wagon a few years too late. And she was stating how when she made her first movie, was it Pretty Baby? How they, for a 12 or 13-year-old girl, how that was abusive. And she was suing the producers and the studio and da-da-da-da-da. And then a few weeks later, you had the actress who played Juliet in the original Romeo and Juliet came out and said she wanted to do the same thing. She had gotten an attorney. Well, the judge immediately, when they went to the first hearing in Italy, said, sorry, you were 16 years old in Italy. That don't mean shit. So she lost her case. But you have a lot, and they're like, why didn't you say anything back then? And why didn't you do anything? And so it's always odd when someone comes out years later, 2 decades, almost 3. And
my thing is, if you're going to come out so many years later, man, you got to have receipts, man. You got to have receipts, or I'm just going to be like, okay, that's your version of the truth.
Right. And they also don't help. See, why I blame them? I'll tell you, because if it actually occurred, they didn't help anyone to stop it from happening in the future.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the Harvey Weinstein thing. It's like all these people who have, first of all, I think it's redonkulous that not a single woman who has worked with Harvey Weinstein has been asked any of the questions that all the men who work with Harvey Weinstein have been asked. And it's like, well, if you knew, why didn't you do anything? It's like, honestly, it's just as bad or worse for some of the women too, if you ask me. Yeah, I don't understand why they're getting off the hook on this. And Leslie Headland, for instance. Considering, but no, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, look,
even more so her, man. She was his assistant.
Exactly. Like, but they asked Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez every goddamn chance they can. Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you do anything? It's like, what the fuck did you expect Ben Affleck to do? Go home and put the bat suit on and kick the shit out of fucking Harvey Weinstein or something? Like, what the hell do you expect to happen here? First of all, you got to have proof. You can't just go to the press willy-nilly going, I heard a rumor that fucking Harvey Weinstein did this. Like, that's what the hell do they expect to happen here with this situation? Like,
No,
it's this thing with
they wanted press. They wanted to be able to
exactly,
be
and it's the same thing here
social
with
justice
Guy
crusaders.
Pearce. All he wants is fucking press.
Social
Why-
justice crusaders. That virtue signaling bullshit.
And
Hey, bro.
anyway,
Nice.
so this is his deal. He goes, I was in London working on something. I heard the reports it broke. I saw, and I'm trying to even find his quotes about this whole thing.
Yeah.
I sobbed and I couldn't stop. I think it really dawned on me the impact that had occurred and how I sort of brushed it off and how I had either shelved it or blocked out or whatever. That was really incredible wake-up call. He explained in his voice, breaking up with an emotional one point. So he didn't specify the date or details of what occurred. That's what I'm saying. He didn't even really specify anything.
It's all intimation. He's intimating everything. He wants
He
you to
says
draw the
that-
conclusion.
Yeah, they had a couple of confrontations that got ugly. And he found himself in a weird position.
Yep.
And I don't want him to get away with what he gets away with. Again, and he did this, I guess, after reading the reports of the earlier other accusations that were coming out about Kevin. So yeah, I just
It's crap. Anyway, but I like the way that Spacey dealt with it directly. That was my whole point. But whether
I hate sticking up for somebody like Spacey who does have a history of accusations.
I don't believe him because he's a very talented actor, but I like the direct approach that he took. I hate all the bullshit games. Sundowners Club, member for 9 months. How you doing, my friend? Now, this panel is my age bracket. What up, boys? I hope you're doing well today. Mr. Burger for $5. Freaky Tales. Jesus, more Pedro Pascal. Giant Slayer fans, watch Mr. Burger's Quiz Time 80s, 90s trivia right after George the Giant Slayer show. Go check it out. Mr. Burger's a good guy. Cool person. Great show. Jose Taco, another good friend of mine. $2 to Verbal and Tom. He's a great actor. That's why. Yep. Straight up.
Pedro.
Yep. No, that's for Kevin
No.
Spacey.
Oh, well, in both cases, I will agree. Yeah.
Pedro,
As much as
I don't
like
believe.
Pedro either. I think he's a fairly decent actor. for the
Really?
most part. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think he's a good television actor. I don't know. He doesn't have that movie.
I'm not going to
appeal.
disagree with you there. He's able to pull off whatever it is he does
Mhm.
in most roles that I see him in. I can't turn around and go, "Oh, he was horrible in that." Even in movies
Oh
like
no, I
Wonder,
don't think. Yeah, I
even
don't
in
think.
Wonder Woman '84, you walk out of that going, "That thing was a piece of shit." Except for Pedro Pascal was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think he's. Yeah, I don't think he's bad.
And he was actually really good in that movie with Nick Cage too. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he has that. I still separate out what I consider to be movie stars or that movie star power versus television. I think to me, he's like a grade A television actor.
well, but I mean, the personality problem, the acting quality aside, the personality problem of it all is like, I think it's a social media thing. Because I mean, really, and that was kind of my point earlier about the musicians and everything else. It's like, if we knew half the things about half the people that we adored growing up, I think we'd probably not
Yeah, but
adore
the-
them so much.
But I'm glad we don't know that about them.
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
know any of that shit. I don't. Lost
Yeah.
for words for £5. Kevin Spacey needs to keep doing the Frank Underwood skits. He's basically become Frank Underwood. Kevin is sus, but he keeps getting away with it. See, I agree with you. I don't trust him, but I like, not respect. I like the way he tackled it directly. Thank you for that, Lost for Words. And then Eric K. King of the Monster, $5. Tom, I know from lifelong friends, many complaining now went with Harvey willingly, and they were throwing themselves at him. Broke up high-profile relationships. Come on, we all know the casting couch is real. Eric is
Absolutely.
spot on. And I'm not going to beat this horse to death because we beat it to death Sunday.
please.
But I'm going to say this one. I just want to share this one video clip, and then we'll move on. Because Captain Checkbox, right? It's the director was asked, did y'all do, there's a lot of stuff going around. Y'all reshot it 3 times and all this trouble. And so he explains that they didn't.
Obviously, I
Just skip to the end.
oh, this and this is what we need. This is how it interfaces with other stories. But we only did one period of additional photography, which is the same on all of these movies. And it's just a part of filmmaking at this scale, So when you think about so many movies that you love, I was mentioning this before, from Star Wars,
Motherfucker,
to
22
Lord
Days
of
is
the
a whole
Rings,
nother
to,
movie.
you know, all those movies. This is a part of the process, just because when you're making something of this scale, there are so many variables. NAP becomes essential to fine tuning and coming up with a thing that we know audiences will love. And it's really as a benefit.
That's it. He's just basically saying they only had some basic reshoots. Now, everything we read leading up to it, verbal, said they reshot.
That is complete horseshit, man. Like I said, I have a friend who works for the MCU. Those were straight up reshoots. There was like 3 or 4 reshoots they did. So that dude is lying to try to save face. And you could tell if you saw the movie, you could tell it looked like they would stitch together, man. It was like a Frankenstein of a movie, right? It was like patchwork. Like there were scenes that didn't even make sense that followed the next scene. So, look, with all that said, the movie was fine. I mean, like I said, it wasn't the worst MCU film I've watched. It wasn't like completely terrible, but it was not good. You know what I mean? And for him to sit there and bullshit and lie and say that, oh yeah, we did the typical, you know, we reshot a few things. No, he's lying.
Yeah.
He's completely lying.
But you don't think the one thing that bugged me about it is that to me it destroyed Sam's character, and I love I loved Anthony Mackie's character as Sam. It's like the way he was a dick to Joaquin.
Well, it was funny to have all these people who were just kind of like, you know, you must not read comics because Sam is, you know, Captain America in the comic. I'm like, yeah, I know he is, but we're talking about recent comics, right? And we already established recent comics have sucked for the past 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So get that shit out of there. But before that, Bucky was Captain America and one of the best Captain America runs in the history of the book.
Right after Civil War, yeah.
Let me just go ahead and put that out there. But look, man, I don't think it completely destroyed Sam Wilson's character. I just think it didn't really move the needle one way or another. And for the MCU, that's bad. That's bad.
I don't even think it's a movie, to be honest.
They needed that needle to move. You know what I mean?
That's my issue is people are calling it a movie when it's not. It's not even really a movie.
It's not.
It feels like a television series.
It's not even just that. I mean, it's just a thing that exists to get these characters from one place to another, to introduce this and to get us to a place where we can see the Thunderbolts. And that to me is not a fucking movie. It's just homework. It's a footnote. Or a cliff note. I mean, not a footnote, but it's like, what the fuck are we doing here now? And I've been having issues with this, trying to get my head around this movie since I saw it, because I even still can't call it myself a movie, because it doesn't really have a plot. There's no real characters in it that are like going anywhere or have any real development. I mean, the only one who has any real motivation in the movie is pretty much the leader, and his is just revenge.
Yeah, it's nothing. That's why.
You know what? To his credit, I think Harrison Ford didn't phone it in this time. I think he actually
but
tried.
Who cares? Like, that's the fucking problem.
Well, okay, but I will say at least he had a motivation and he had a plot. But that was about it. Like, no one else really did, man.
Well, and his whole motivation was we want to control adamantium. And that could have been anybody. That could have been a fucking group of people, really, at the end of the day.
And as far as the leader goes, I mean, you know, he's like this brilliant, you know, strategist, and he controls minds in the comic book. My thing is, I'm watching this film, and I'm like, you're telling me that Ross had you imprisoned all that time, right? Had you kind of like a slave, and your only motivation was to turn him into this monster, not to control the monster himself, right? Because that's what a supervillain would do. He create this monster and then control the monster.
He just wants to humiliate him,
to do what he wants. No, he just wants to troll him,
spank him, basically publicly.
He wants to troll the president. That's the point of the leader.
I know,
which to me is a big problem with like the whole message of them to begin with, and that's the problem with this movie. All the reshoots were nothing but them trying to slop up this mess of what this movie really started off as, and it was basically this anti-Trump movement.
Yep.
And they like that, you know, what is it, C-24, whatever the hell that movie is with the Die Hard and with the black president lady.
Oh God, yeah.
Whatever the hell the name of that thing was, I forgot. Anyway, G24 or whatever the hell it is. That thing, you know, like they were obviously made for a world where they thought Trump was going to lose.
Yep.
And I don't care. Okay, let's take him at face value. Okay, let's play devil's advocate here and say, okay, Sure, there was only one round of reshoots.
Okay.
Okay. It was 22 fucking days. That's a whole other movie.
Yeah.
Right?
that's
Like,
most-
like for those who don't understand, like most movies, you're only shooting for about a month. Maybe a little bit more, 45 days for some of these bigger movies sometimes, and even that is pushing it some cases. You're shooting for almost a half of a schedule for one of these movies, if not more than. Like, and that's where my joke came in, because their whole thing was when they first announced this whole deal, they're like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. It was kind of like what this guy's presenting. He's like, we're just doing a couple of sequences, like some major action sequences we wanted to fix. It's like, yeah, your major sequences are act 1, 2, and 3. It's like, we already know this. And we've seen the movie. Verbal's right. We've all heard the rumors from various sources. You've got tons and tons of people who worked on the film, who worked on the crew, who are like, yeah, that was before me. Right? It's like, so if there was people working on this before you, that means there was a whole nother round of scheduling. That means that people moved on to other projects that they had already had contracts for or whatever, that they had to bring in new crew members, basically. Yeah. So like you're all right. Yeah, they're bullshit. They're full of shit. Anyway, moving on. The point is this to me is just another nail in the coffin of what is the end of the MCU.
Yeah, like my friend said, when it was time to watch the dailies for the first version of the film, he said they literally all looked at each other and just kind of like shook their head. They were quiet. They were like, "This is fucking bad." They were like, "This is really bad." So what happened was, the closer it got to the election, and people kind of feeling like the tide was turning, bunch of reshoots happened again, right? And this is after like the third reshoot already. So this movie was supposed to be anti-Trump, completely anti-Trump. A Harrison Ford's character was literally supposed to be Trump without the blonde hair.
You can tell.
And they changed all of that.
Yeah, you can
last
tell.
minute, by the way.
And there's whole characters that are out of the movie. Because if you guys remember, there's like 2 or 3 of the Happy Meal characters that aren't even in the movie.
Yeah,
pink-haired chick and yeah.
And Giancarlo Esposito was literally added last minute.
Yeah, it was hard. For me, I didn't like it. I think it was lame, but I think what's going to cause even more of a shitstorm is Cynthia Erivo. Who played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl.
At least it's just a play.
I was about to say, I'm not even offended by this, because number one, if you guys have never seen Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, like if you never saw the movie,
I saw the movie.
Old 70s movie is pretty gay. Like it's pretty like
so gay or not, but I saw this headline and I'm like, of course she is.
Yeah,
it struck me like part of the last read. Like this was done purposely.
She's gonna play Abraham Lincoln next.
But you know what? But it's the Hollywood Bowl. It's a musical. It's like a live musical. It's if that's what they want to do. If this makes them feel good about themselves, and screw Trump, and we're queer, we're here. Knock yourself out. Have a ball.
But let me ask you a question. Could you imagine if someone put together a movie that made fun of the Rainbow Pride?
But it's not a movie. It's just.
I know, but of production.
But I get what you're saying, and their little minds would explode.
Right. Especially if they would lose their shit for sure.
Especially if you did it on Broadway or at the Hollywood Bowl, and that's the thing. They want to be gutsy. They want to show me that they got some real balls. Do this motherfucker right in the middle of the Bible Belt and see how that rolls. Because you know what? That's the beauty. They can do this over at the Hollywood Bowl. They're going to get a few protesters outside, but it ain't going to be enough to spit at, right? Like it ain't going to be but 5 people out there going, this is an abomination. If you were to do this in middle America,
Kansas.
Oh, they would cancel this shit quicker than shit.
They did that.
Well, right. If you did it in Texas, I mean, my brother from another mother, Istophobos is right. It's an all-female play, though. But I know that's what I'm saying. Imagine if you flipped the script. That's what we were just talking about. And you made a film or production, a theater performance, a musical that was making fun of roasting, mocking one of their sacred cows. They would be out. Oh my God. They'd be calling for people to be drawn and quartered. I find that always to be ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the hypocrisy is definitely there. But at the end of the day, I'm with Verbal on this. I don't think this is the bigger blip is us making a noise about it, and that's what they want. That's kind of what this whole thing is for. Like the only reason that they are doing this thing is so that A, we can talk about it and freak out about it, and B, all the Bible thumpers can freak out about it. That's really all it is.
Actually, someone in the chat makes a very good point. What if they did a Mohammed superstar? How do you think that would play?
Let's go write that right now.
Well, I mean, think about it. You think that would go over well? Virtual reality?
Because we've already established that in this country, Christianity is the only religion that you are allowed to openly mock.
Right. Yeah. It's,
For some reason.
South Park proved that the only one you can't get away with is, Muhammad, pretty much.
Now, the weird thing is, you can't even openly mock Judaism, which is the same book.
Yeah, that's weird. You should be able to mock anyone and
But you
anything.
can mock Christianity. Like that. That's the weird part for me.
You should be able to mock anything and anyone. That's what.
I agree. But see, but like the guy like the post just said, no one has the balls in Hollywood, I should say, to mock Islam.
Yeah, Mel Brooks used to. Mel Brooks used to. I wish he was in tip-top form today. But we also did have Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special last Saturday, of course.
I didn't watch it.
But I think they proved they're not going to be around for the next 50 years.
I think they had an audience about the size of an average Big Bang episode did back in the day. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
But yeah, you were saying, I'm sorry, George.
No, it's okay. I just think they proved the fact that why they're not funny anymore. And I miss the days with Dan Aykroyd and Belushi and Chevy Chase.
Oh, we are far from that, man.
Speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No.
Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome at Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you, my brother. Maybe I'll start a show for you to come on, and we'll call it White Jeopardy.
No, we don't need it. We don't need it.
You know what's so fucked up about this? To me, this shows how terrified they are. Because let me show you this clip. You had two Trump supporters that a reporter questioned, and I thought it was the perfect way to answer Tom Hanks. Where did you go?
Well, what's sad is that the skit isn't necessarily not funny. It actually, there is a funny skit to be had there. It's the fact that they keep trying to paint Tom Hanks as some sort of racist that isn't funny, because that's not what's true. The truth is in that, even though America can't believe that most black people would actually support Trump or agree with some of these MAGA folk, they do, because guess what? They have a lot of the same family values. Same thing with, the Mexicans and all this other stuff. It's like, why would they? They can't get their head around that. It's like, that's not the joke. The joke is by the way, all these people that you think are racist, all these other cultures and races actually agree with them.
Yeah, I can't.
That's the
Tom
fucking
Hanks.
joke for you, right in front of your face, and you missed it. And you're not wrong, because Saturday Night Live has been garbage for most of its lifespan.
Yeah, I can't stand Tom Hanks, and he proved it. But what's funny is I think it was a few hours after that Hanks piece came out. This gentleman came out brilliant.
And you people still don't get it. You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump. Black Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this. Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we need Elon. That's why we got Elon, to help shrink it. Look what he's doing for the USAID. They're dropping their workforce from 10,000 to 300.
But he's brilliant. I think what's even better than that is they're this pair that a reporter, cut the fucking camera again. There's this reporter that questioned these two gentlemen.
You all right?
Are you okay? Oh, I'm feeling better than ever.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Are you racist?
Am I what?
What are you think of these people now? Why? Why you stay here?
Are you racist? Am I racist?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a racist. Why do you ask that?
Well,
why is it that people who stand up for America and who want to protect our own borders, why are we always trying to be backed up with the racist thing? I'm standing here with a black man. If I was a racist, this is my brother right here. If I'm standing with him, how can I be a racist?
Are you a
racist?
No.
So why would you ask him if he's a racist?
Well, let me see.
Why would you ask that question?
What? Why
I'd
you
like to know
stay
why
here?
You
Why?
you're asking him because he's white, and you want to get away with this racist remark. Are you a racist?
No, no.
So why is it that he a racist because he's standing up
Do you
for the
like
country?
the Latin people? Do you like
Do
it?
you like them? No. Do you like them?
Yeah, I
Do you like
Latin
America?
people.
Do you like America?
Yeah.
Then what's the problem? You should be out here picking it with us. That's a dumb question to ask. You're asking that question so you can use it on your program to make him look like a racist. Why don't you ask me am I racist? Because I'm black, right? I love America too, and I think these illegal aliens need to be shipped back to their country. So why is that racist? You're a racist for asking him that question.
Thank you, Jesse.
I don't know. I think the two clips from two different time periods kind of put everything into context. I mean, so Tom Hanks, I don't know what he was trying to do with that. Was he just speaking to Hollywood? Because he wasn't speaking to America.
It's called virtue signaling, man.
I know.
It's something that, that, look, even though we're in this new era, like these Hollywood folks still need to kiss the ring. Man, like that's like nothing changes in Hollywood from that. They still have to kiss the ring. So
doesn't matter to them. Just
it is what it is.
Because I see the studios changing, Dante. I see them changing the studios, how they are slowly starting to adapt, or at least making the move towards that, the way that they've filmed
George, this is a weird illusion, right? Like, yes, like what you're talking about is the money side of Hollywood. The money side of Hollywood is changing, right? But the culture of Hollywood stays the same. It stays the same. So even though the money part is changing, the culture is still going to be asinine and stupid.
Right.
And to be a part of that, to get invited to all the big parties, right? To meet the right people, you still have to kiss the ring.
Period.
Or what I like to call the Hollywood cock ring.
Wow.
Yeah, these next couple of years are going to be interesting because I agree with Verbal. I think on the production side of things, as far as like the upper echelon people, the money folk, they know the change is happening.
Yeah.
We've even heard of Bob Iger and Bezos hanging out at Mar-a-Lago and stuff like that. There's people inside Disney who are freaking out over Bob adopting some of these practices already. Things are going to change, but it's not going to change so much on the one side. The other, I agree with him. Like a lot of the creatives are so die hard when it comes to this stuff, or they're so bought into it, or whatever it is that they're, whether it's a religious thing for them at this point, or it's a money thing for them at this point, whatever it is, if there's somebody who didn't get cut off from the funding with the "you said" thing, at this point, I think they're just so bought into it that they can't get their head around anything else. And I feel sad for those people.
Some of these studios started making these changes before Trump got elected. I mean, to their credit, and I don't give them credit often, but to their credit, Disney last year made some changes before even the election that, the left will consider, heinous, right? Like getting rid of certain gay storylines in Pixar movies. The MCU fired a bunch of activists, like a lot. So they've already started making some of these money changes already.
Doesn't seem like the actors have cut on the celebrities.
No, well, because they're not going to. Because again,
even though they're paid by the studios,
and the culture side of Hollywood.
Right, but don't the actors have to? I mean, in one way, they have to follow what the studio says, don't they? In a point, because they're the ones who pay it.
Yes, but that doesn't mean they're not going to freak out. And when you got creatives, not just the actors, but the directors, writers, they're still buying into this crap. That's going to be a problem. They're going to meet a lot of resistance, and these are the fuckers who are look. They know how to throw a temper tantrum and get their fucking way.
Absolutely. Well, we just saw Spike Lee threw one. Spike Lee threw one at the NBA All-Star game. He's paying $57,000 for his courtside ticket, but he wore this jacket and he was walking everywhere.
And they're generally doing it to people who are just like, God damn it, shut them the fuck up and give them what they want, just so they get out of my hair. Like that's generally the reaction they have to a lot of this shit.
Does that shock you at all that Spike Lee is still doing that?
Spike Lee invented this shit.
Yeah.
But he was such a good director, good storyteller. And ever since I know he was always selling a certain message, a story. I believe it was authentic, but the last decade, I think it's a grift. I don't believe that
He's always been that way,
Well, to
actually.
be honest, though, I mean, Black Klansman was a damn good movie. I mean,
It was.
It's not that Hollywood. It's not. I don't think Spike's lost his touch. I just think that, here's the thing, too, man. I mean, you have to remember, Spike has been a liberal for a very long time, and when you get older, it's not like you lose that.
Churchill said you become more conservative.
I guess I did on some level, but not everyone loses that. So I mean, he's still going to be Spike.
Spike is always like I can excuse him a little bit because he's always been in this mindset that the black man is being repressed by the white man,
But
even while he's standing on stage with a fucking Oscar.
The very fact that he was able to what about the very fact that he was able to spend $57,650 for a courtside ticket? That should say that burst the bubble of reality.
It's almost like it's satirical, right? Like that's what I'm saying with him. Like he's been doing it for so long that it's almost like I hate using the term a pass because he almost does get a pass for me. It's like, oh, so Spike Lee said something stupid and racist. It's another day that ends in Y. Right, but he can make good movies, like Verbal said. Every other movie of his is a fucking masterpiece. But then every other one of those other ones is nothing but a racist, convoluted mess. I mean, look at shit like Bamboozled, for instance, for a great example. I mean, come on. I mean,
Now,
he
here's
makes
the
that.
thing. The weird thing about Bamboozled, though, is I get the message he was trying to put out.
Me too.
And I honestly, I kind of liked it. I mean, because it mattered.
It's not a bad movie.
It mattered at that time for sure. You know what I mean? But the thing about the Hollywood culture is their main currency in the culture part of Hollywood is victimhood. Like you can't be a part of that culture without victimhood.
They're not tired of playing victims. I mean, that'd be exhausting to constantly do that.
But Verbal's right. Like that's exactly what I'm getting at. Spike Lee has been a perpetual victim since day one. Like I said, he's been standing there saying, "I'm being repressed," while standing on stage with a fucking Oscar in his hand.
Right, I know that. I know, but it's like the brain at some point's got to be like, "Come on, do you actually buy this shit you're selling?"
The weird thing about Spike Lee for me, though, real quick, is that he has had like I won't say fast or quick, but he's had success in Hollywood for a very long time.
Oh yeah, from She's Gotta Have It to Do the Right Thing.
And not just doing black movies, right? Like this guy's had a career of making like huge Hollywood movies. So I mean, his perspective to still have that victim mindset is weird to me. After all the success you've had in this country.
Because it proves that this country is the exact opposite of what
that's what I said. It's almost like satire. It's almost like he's doing an Andy Kaufman thing or something.
Or
right?
shit.
Like that's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like this. He's playing this game where it's like he knows what he's doing. He's playing it off well enough that plays it off believable. I don't know how else to put it because I agree with you guys. He's got to be completely aware of what he's doing and aware of the fact that he's not as repressed as he acts. Because let's be real, he's been able to continue to make movies now for close to 40 years.
Yeah.
And he has not made that many movies that have made money to where if you turn around and you put his white equivalent right next to him, their career ended 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Or 25 years ago, because not every Spike Lee movie has performed in a way like he has like these gaps. Like, I mean, I brought a movie like Bamboozled, a great example, right? Like, sure, we talk about it. We know what it is. Most of you out there maybe never even heard of it. That's the problem he has. He has Girl Sixes. He has all these other movies that nobody's ever really heard of. Or don't remember anymore. For every Malcolm X, for every, Do the Right Thing, he's got 12 movies you don't remember. That's the problem.
But then he has movies like Inside Man and movies like that.
Inside Man.
People don't even realize he's directed. Exactly. That's a good point, Verbal.
Very good. Well,
I think if you look at guys like even like like guys he came up with like Richard Linklater and all those guys, he's surpassed them.
Exactly. That's a great example. Thank you, Verbal. Like Richard can't go out and make the kind of movies he has.
I mean, 100%. 100%. Nick the Greek for $5. I think I heard that female reporter single brain cell sizzling. He's talking about the reporter who was asking them if they were racist. I agree with you, Nico. Yasu. I agree 100%. I think before we go to our next Hollywood subject, before we get to politics, we should hear from the real Man of Steel himself talking about Hollywood.
The old days of the studio system, it was run by people who actually liked movies.
That's right.
They were self-made men. They came up with very little education, but they loved movies and they loved artists. There was this great exodus from Germany, and then there was Faulkner writing there, and there was Fitzgerald writing, and the word meant something. Literature meant something. In fact, Broadway was really kind of the Class A world, and film was a poor relation. What we have now is we've got the studios are run by guys with business degrees who are really only doing pre-selling territories. You get a really interesting original piece of modern literature like Bonfires of Vanities, which they cast by pre-selling to an imagined audience. Well, Bruce Willis brings in this audience, Tom Hanks brings in this audience, Morgan Freeman brings in this audience, and they don't care anymore whether they're serving the author's intentions. And I think that really does a disservice to the audience, who really doesn't care so much about stars. They want to see a story well told for their $7.
God, $7.
$7, geez.
Well, not only that, honestly, he's not wrong, but I almost wish we could go back to that, because unfortunately, what he's talking about was the beginning of what we've reached the end of now, and that is where they're literally picking their stars by social media followings.
Oh yeah, I don't know if a lot of people have actually heard that. I have that clip. Well, yeah,
I referenced it earlier, but it's true. We've been telling people this for years, that like a great example of this is the reason the Batman was Sparkle Pants and not Nicholas Hoult was because Sparkle Pants had a bigger social media following, and Warner Brothers wanted him.
Right. Yeah, I've been wanting to play this for everybody for a while, because this is when Maya Hawke came out and said this, I thought it pretty much nailed Hollywood. It actually for a moment stunned me that it was just purely marketing analytics behind so many of our modern movies.
I don't care about Instagram. Instagram sucks. Right, but just so you know, if you have over this many followers, you can get the movie funded. Well, I want to make the movie, so it's a really confusing line to walk. And I've talked to so many smart
She's like a nerdy version of her mom.
Tell me that they get it. Yeah. I'm talking to them about how I'm going to delete my Instagram, and they're like, just so you know, when I'm casting a movie with some producers, they hand me a sheet with the amount of collective followers I have to get of the cast that I cast. So if you delete your Instagram and I lose those followers, understand that these are the kinds of people that I need to cast around you. So and so it's confusing. And
so it's analytics. Everything is being run. Every movie's being made based on analytics. Not
why, George? Because they're out of money. Hollywood the industry is dying, man. It's dying a slow, really painful death. We have like some big movies coming out this year, but I'm telling you, those movies are getting few and far between. And what's killing them is funny that what's killing them is something that they created, which is streaming. Streaming is killing them, and they're doing it to themselves. It's not even us doing it to them. They're doing it to themselves.
All they got to do is return to the original formula. That's it. Return to the original formula.
They can't. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, man. They have fucked themselves, and
they got to reinvent it again.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It's just very sad. Could you imagine that? I mean, when I heard that clip, it put so many television shows, so many films in perspective. The Rachel Ziegler's, the girl from
that's a great example. Rachel,
the girl from the Acolyte. Think about it.
Yeah,
you're like, why would you hire these people? Whether it's that you're like your social media, even Pedro Pascal. I looked at he has a massive following. I'm like, okay.
Bingo. That's what I was telling you.
I mean, Zendaya, yeah, Mr. Tickle Trunk is right.
And this also answers the question of how these people can keep making these bombs and still have a career where years ago, if Bruce Willis had come out and Die Hard would have bombed, we wouldn't be talking about Bruce Willis still to this day, right? Like, he'd have been known as that guy from Moonlighting.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I don't know if we're going to hear from Amanda Stenberg anytime soon either.
There's some of these that I agree with you are going to go to the wayside, and hopefully they kind of learn and shake up things a little bit in the next few years in Hollywood. Because let's be real, the audience is trying to tell Hollywood who they want as movie stars, and Hollywood better start listening. I think some people are hearing it. Julius, Sweeney's one of them. Not Julia Sweeney. What's her name?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney.
She knows how to do it.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, and Glenn Powell's a great example. I mean, these are people that the audience wants to see. They will eventually learn that. And these followings are only going to do so much for so long. And this goes along with what Vince Vaughn was saying. You can extend that to these actors being brought on from their social media following, because then the producer behind that can say, look, you can't blame me. I used said property. I used said actors who have X amount of followers. You can't blame me. It's not my fault. right? Like, and that's what this is all about. Is they can get all these people, whether it's the actors, the producers, the writers, the directors. That's how they can continue to keep doing this shit. And we keep getting the same people making the same garbage, is because it keeps following the same analytics that you're talking about, George. And it's a broken system. It's like it only works in certain ways. It's not working in this sense. It
works for marketing. It works for marketing.
To a point, and
not for a story. You can't plug analytics into a story.
But I don't think people realize how much damage has been done. So I kind of there was a part two to my what I was going to say before.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh no. It's number one, streaming. Streaming has completely screwed the industry. But beyond that, Hollywood's disrespect of the audience has killed.
Yeah,
that's the other half that's killed the industry. So even if things were roses and the streaming didn't exist, they over the past like 5, maybe longer years, let's say past 10 years, they've gone out of their way to insult us, right?
Big time.
They've gone out of their way to tell us we don't matter and that they know what's best. So you have streaming and this, and the two of those together, they are hurting, man. Disney right now, people are looking at this opening weekend for Captain America like, look how good he did. No, it didn't. If you count the reshoots, if you count the marketing, they are still under, right?
Right.
So what's going to put Disney over this year? What's going to put them in the black? I don't think there's anything that's going to put them in the black. Their only hope is Fantastic Four, and that's an unknown quantity right now.
Gotcha.
That's a complete unknown quantity because I guarantee you, the Thunderbolts isn't going to do it.
Oh no,
Snow White.
It's supposed to be good, and that's what sucks. If it's actually good, coming off the tail end of Brave New World is a bad call. You know?
And Snow White is going to put them under again.
Oh,
they're not winning here, man.
No, not at all. Gabby 13 for £2. Cheers for cheering me up through hard times. Oh my, well, bless you. I hope we could do it. You know, anytime we can bring a smile to someone or brighten your day, all while informing you and entertaining you, that's what we're here for. Thank you, Gabby. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed week. I think like everything changes. Now, Playboy, I guess, learned their lesson, everybody, which is kind of funny. It's like they actually learned. Remember, the daughter of Hugh Hefner, when Hugh had died, was saying that, you know, she had tried to get him to change the magazine for years, but he didn't want to listen. He knew, because he knew what the fuck he had created, pardon my language. And then as soon as he passed away, she shifted the magazine to stop having women, for one, to stop having any kind of nudity. The articles remain the same, but then she started posting my girlfriend's dad in fishnets on the cover, basically. And it nearly went bankrupt. So now they are back. This will be the first model on the new Playboy.
So, okay, I have a funny story about Playboy.
Yep.
You know, and I've been I was lucky enough in my lifetime.
You went to the mansion? Come on.
Oh, in my life. And it's weird to me, man. So but the story is, I remember I applied for a job, right, at Playboy.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to work in their marketing department, and I remember I got the interview, and I go to the office in Westwood, and I'm sitting there, and I go into the building, man, and like it's so classy, right? And they have like it looked like something out of Mad Men, you know, and the oak wood tables and leather chairs and just all this stuff, and people bringing you cappuccinos as you wait for your interview. I'm like, wait, what? Real classy thing, right? And so I'm just like, oh, I gotta work here, you know. And they had posters of like their greatest models on the wall, and I'm like, dude, this is the dream right here. And I remember I go into my interview, and the girl that I interviewed with basically told me that what they're trying to do, and this was like in 2000, this was like after I had died. She was like, yeah, so what we're doing is we're going in a different angle, we're trying to make Playboy more like GQ, and we're getting rid of the nude models, and she was excited about it. And I'm looking at her like,
what?
I'm like, you want me to market Playboy without the nude? Right? Like, I told her that. I asked her that. I said, because I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, and I said it in a way that wasn't sarcastic. And I was like, this is what you want.
Seriously, like, you really want me to do this? Yeah.
Right. And she's like, yeah, we want to go in a bold new direction, and using all the buzzwords, and how people don't want to look at that anymore. And I'm like, and as a man, I'm like, you're telling me men don't want to look at gorgeous naked women anymore, right? And this girl, you could tell she was fresh out of college, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, okay, so like, how would I go about this, right? Because I'm like, as you guys have had a certain branding for the past 60 years. How do I change that, right? Because I'm trying to be realistic here. And she's like, oh, I think America's ready now. They're ready to move beyond this, and they're tired of objectivity. And I was just like, oh no.
No, yeah, you do not know people or human
like,
nature.
oh God, no. And that's when I knew Playboy was over. Then I was like, damn, it's all over. The dream is over.
The dream is dead. Yeah, but she obviously learned the lesson. At least she learned it. She tried it. She learned it.
Yeah, but years too late, man. I mean,
you don't think it's gonna come back? Because
well, here's the thing, man. Playboy was already struggling just because porn became, everywhere on the internet. So
it was twofold. First of all, magazines were dying on top of porn being on everywhere on the internet. Right. And not only that, you can look up anything you want, right? So yeah.
Like I literally, as I was waiting for my interview, I could have looked up a bukkake on my cell phone. So I mean, Playboy relevant, not so much anymore, man. Crazy and started putting like trans women and fat women on the cover. I'm like, oh, y'all are done.
No, if Playboy was smart, their direction they should have went was the direction they were kind of headed in the 90s. Because you're right. Because like prior to that, their whole thing was they were almost inventing a lot of these women as they were going along, right? You said you had they had the hall of, their famous models. Well, it's like a large portion of them are women that they created. And then the other part of what made Playboy famous is when they would get the people that were already well known, right? Like that's the point. Like the Marilyn Monroes, other people who are already well established. And it's like they're paying them the big bucks to come in and do the classy nude photo shoot. Can you imagine like some of the main starlets of the day? That's kind of what they would do.
And they were the only magazine that could do that, by the way.
Exactly. And they were classy enough, and they could not only because they were classy enough, and they could give them enough money to make it worth it. Right. Like that was the two things, because they weren't going to go do Hustler.
No.
Maybe Penthouse. Penthouse was the plausibility, but very rarely.
No, Hustler's where you went to see labias. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But Hustler was going to die with the internet, right? Like that was purely going to die with the internet. But Playboy has a place where if you did it right at the right time, it could have been still relevant. Unfortunately, I hear what you're saying, Verbal, and they went the complete opposite direction. It's like, no. You need to class this up. You need to make it more elite. You need to advertise the fact that you're getting all these well-known women coming in here and doing this on top of the great interviews and all that other shit that made Playboy what it was for so long. Only you need to amplify that aspect of it and not, go like, because that was just stupid. You're right, because you're making something that was already becoming quickly irrelevant. You're expediting its death. It was like basically like just shooting it up with poison when it was already on its deathbed at that point.
Yeah, because Playboy would have had the Sydney Sweeneys and the girls like that.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
In their magazine,
like they used to.
Can you imagine the Sydney Sweeney Playboy issue?
Dear Lord,
it would have outsold everything. I mean,
there's like a good 2 dozen, 3 dozen Playboy issues that are worth the most in history, and usually those are the ones that are worth more. Is when it's some person who was a star already or was an up and coming when they did their cover shoot or their centerfold and all that business. Those are the ones that are worth the most, like the Marilyn Monroe.
Oh God, yeah, Demi Moore.
Yep.
There you go.
The Demi Moore issue, man.
It is insane. It is insane. I wanted to share this now with y'all.
Look at Victoria's Secret, man. They went the same.
But they learned that too. Victoria's Secret again started replacing all their sexy angels with my girlfriend's dad. I mean, you can't.
Well, Victoria made no sense because that was like that. It's different Playboy because it's a different audience in a sense. I know it seems like it's the same audience, but it's not, because you were selling these things to women, and the idea was it was like it's no different than it was for the beer commercials for us men back in the day, or truck commercials, right? The whole point is we see those truck commercials and they're surrounded by tons of sexy women and having a party. It's like, oh, I go buy that beer, I'm going to have tons of sexy women flock around me and I'm going to have a party. If I go buy that truck, I can climb a fucking mountain, right? Yeah. Like, that's the way men think. Women are the same way. They see those models in those and they're like, I look like that in that, right? Like, that's the whole point of selling that shit that way. Women know they look like the models they're trying to use now. They don't want to be fucking reminded of that.
Right. Right.
But I will say it's the very same damn thing that I do have a problem with in modern Hollywood, which is the fact that I don't want to look at Walmart greeters as actors. I want to see the old days of gods and goddesses that came from Olympus. I want to look, that's what I want. I can't stand. And it's like, again, I'll keep using it. My next door neighbor, half the shit that I see, it's like, yeah, well, I don't want to see him or her in a film. Anyways, no, I don't.
I don't even want to see myself in most movies. Like,
but did y'all hear about what Germany and because last week you had Vice President JD Vance, he gave that speech in Munich and it pissed off all the rhinos, of course, and all the globalists, the WEFers in Europe. And then a few days later, we get this video coming out from Germany. It's from 60 Minutes because they were doing an interview how Germany raided a family's home because of a meme. A meme.
It's good to see Germany getting back to their old values.
Oh, it gets better. Wait till she interviews German officials. It's stunning, and I kiss the ground that I live in the United States of America. And I feel bad for all our family, brothers, friends, sisters living in Europe now.
Is it a crime to insult them online as well?
Did we hear that again? It's a crime to insult someone, Dante, in Germany.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's still coming from Germany?
No, like I said,
isn't that what the Nazis did?
Right,
they're
but
all back to their old ways. Yeah.
But it's in the UK now as well. In France, they're pushing it. You're talking, it's going through Europe. That's why they hate people like, Viktor Orban in Hungary. They hate people who are independent.
I don't know. I think this is on brand for Germany.
It totally is. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I know, but you're talking about the way that they said they were modern Europe. Modern Europe, they're going back to their roots. But this is why J.D. Vance's speech last week hit such a nerve. I'm going to play you a piece of his speech. And just after we saw what 60 Minutes reported on Germany. Come on, where the hell did you go? Do y'all notice there's a problem with X's bookmarks? Did you ever have problems when you?
I haven't used it.
I am not real familiar with it.
I use them to lay out all my bookmarks, and now I'm starting to notice that half of them are gone. Hold on one second. I want to find you this speech. It's just 2 seconds of it. Where did it go? JD Vance, JD Vance, JD Vance, JD Vance.
Well, obviously, I mean, we need somebody to fight. Might as well be communist.
Yeah, it's hearing the words come out of their mouths, like they didn't have any qualms about it. It's like, this is illegal. To insult someone is illegal. To do it on the internet is illegal. It's stunning to me that how much people are willing to put up with. I was listening to Patrick Bet-David the other day, and he was saying, have we really taken a moment to sit back and reflect on the fact that what would have happened if Cackles had won?
Well, that's just it. The more you let your government do for you, eventually they start telling you what you can and cannot do. Right? Like, that's the slippery slope that leads to this whole shit. And I agree with you. Like, we would have been headed directly down that road if it wasn't for us winning Trump, or Trump winning, and we'd be in deep shit right now. You're right.
Yeah, here it is. And the reason I came across it was this article they had. Vance vindicated placebo rocker Brian Molko. Man, you need to change your name. I am Molko, too close. Brian Molko charged in Italy for calling Prime Minister a fascist Nazi. Like, I could give a shit if he calls the Prime Minister a Nazi. Rock band Placebo's frontman Brian Molko was charged with defamation after calling Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni a fascist Nazi. And this happened in 2023, but they now charged him. The maximum penalty for defamation in Italy is a 3-year prison sentence. However, government sources say they must have mean Molko will likely only face a $5,200 fine. So here's Vance's speech from last week.
I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth. So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite, and I hope that we can work together on that. In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
I mean, that pretty much says it all, don't you think? I mean, the times that we're living in and the mountain of work that Trump has had to take on. Hey, Nigel, how you doing? We got Eric K for $5. Reminds me of the Clash song, Know Your Rights. You have the right to free speech as long as you are not dumb enough to actually try it. You got that one. Mr. Tickletrung for $5 Canadian. Germany is so scared of becoming Nazis again. They're becoming communist Russia. The political horseshoe is real, and they're meeting at authoritarianism. 100% agree. Thank you for that, Mr. Tickletrunk. Eric K. again for another $5. In Germany, a politician was arrested for putting actual grape figures out by Who Does It. It was facts, and I haven't even made up numbers. Darius for $5. With enough beer, the woman will look like that, and the man can drive the truck over that. He's talking about the Playboy. Hey, Gabby, thank you again.
That'd be a lot of beer, man.
I'm glad we could cheer you up. Thank you again. I'm glad I wanted to keep that. Everybody, tell Gabby. It's great to have her here. Slayer Nation, we're all together. Where was that other thing?
Yeah, I could do. I mean, every now and then I think like, wow, if Cackles would have won, dude, like we would literally be in that exact same situation as Germany, man. We would be getting fined, arrested for tweets and shit. So just on that alone, I'm completely satisfied with my vote.
Hell yeah, but think about it. They've also would have gone after Trump. They would have not have ended it. All the prosecutions.
Oh,
they
no.
That would have just kept going.
They made new laws just so they could put him in prison, George.
Exactly. That's why I love the fact how he's now taking it to them. He's going after Letitia James and he's going after the prosecution. He wants to break them all because he realizes it. I mean, he has a 4-year term in order to fix the foundation. So hopefully whoever he anoints to be his predecessor, hopefully that we all elect, will be able to continue doing the work. But, you had Letitia James come out, I think it was a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, where she was stating that, well, we're going to be fighting back. He's the president, doesn't mean he can do whatever he wants. All this bullshit about DOGE. And then I see sometimes people put such amazing clips together where they're relaying all the facts, but they do it in such a funny way. Because DOGE, again, so everybody knows, Musk found $4.7 trillion that had no explanation for where it went. It was in the Treasury. It had TAS was the term that was applied to the money spent. Obviously, it's not $4.7 trillion in one lump sum, but they're now trying to trace where did that money go.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping. I'm hoping DOGE finds his way over to California soon to crawl up Gavin Newsom's ass.
Bill O'Reilly was speaking the other day. I like some of O'Reilly's facts because he's got great sources. I don't know what has happened to him in his old age, but he's starting to smell a lot like a rhino. But he's stating that that Trump is going after Letitia James and Gavin Newsom is next after he levels her.
Good.
Trump does not forgive anyone, and he wants to. He has a list.
California needs to be audited.
Oh, I agree. 100%. 100%. Well, let's see where all that money went. That would be interesting.
I actually wish that the government would extort us more. My name is Beck. My pronouns are they, them, and Elon is he's a threat to democracy. You know, I'm concerned. It is in the nation's best interest to continue being extorted by the government through taxation, and it is frankly none of our business where they're spending that money. I saw a report that Elon found $4.7 trillion of untraceable spending from the Treasury Department. Who does he think he is? It is none of our business. You don't understand. Government transparency is a threat to democracy. $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid payments? No. Our healthcare system is literally perfect. They said that they found 20 million Americans over the age of 100 receiving Social Security benefits.
Did you hear that the other day? Dante?
You know what? She's making fun of it, though.
She is. No. That's why I played it. She's trolling. Yeah, she's trolling big time. That's what's hilarious.
Literally perfect. That was making me wonder, like, is this a troll?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Come on.
I've seen her before. She's based, actually. She's very based.
Oh, yeah, this is a troll.
So this is all troll, yeah.
It's beautifully
Took
well
me a
done.
second there. I was like, wait a second. Oh, no, it can't be serious.
Yeah, no, she's cool. I've watched a few of her videos.
She's I agree, 100%.
No fucking way. That's
benefits. Assuming that is fraud is frankly a threat to democracy. USAID is not a money laundering organization. And if you ask questions, you are a threat to democracy. No, listen, I hear you. The Pentagon failed their last 7 audits in a row. But if I mess up on my taxes, I can go to jail. And that's okay. It's not a double standard. It's not. You know, at the end of the day, I hope and I pray that they get Elon out of there. They need to get him out of there and then just get back to extorting us through taxation without transparency. It's democracy. That is how we save it.
I
apologize to Becky because I thought they were a wokey-tard.
Yeah, no.
She goes after
they
all
were in
that
a woke-tard uniform. I can't help it.
No. Look, on face value, yeah, it seemed like she was. You know why it was so believable? Because that's how they talk. That's how they talk. So I mean, that's why it was so believable.
Let me show you. You want to see real wokey tards? I've been collecting some of these meltdowns for y'all before we do our last thing and sign off.
I think I have to get out of America. I just saw a commercial that was my breaking point. It's a Chili's commercial. It's not even a political ad. It's just a Chili's commercial, and I'm losing my mind. I think I have to leave. I don't think I can be a part of this world and this culture. Oh my God. This is because of a Chili's ad.
Now I got to see this ad.
I couldn't. Here's another one.
My mom just got deported. My mom just got deported.
Theater.
Of course. Okay.
This is all woke theater.
It's so not fair. It's so not fair.
How many fucking nose rings do you have? Is there one on
I'm
every?
still trying to figure out what it is.
She's literally not a criminal. Like she's literally just paid her taxes. She's literally just.
Wait a minute. She just paid her taxes, then she's not an illegal immigrant then. So
yeah, no, that is bullshit. It's bullshit.
And then you have this one from Tesla. All these people protesting Tesla.
Fuck you!
Jesus Christ. Kill. Oh, Jesus.
Stop the coup! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! The coup! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! Stop the coup!
Transparently dangerous.
I know. It's nutty. It's just nutty what they do.
Oh, man. I've never seen so many people want to kill the messenger in their entire life.
You'd think they would be thrilled that somebody is actually exposing all the crap, but no.
Come on, public enemy. I came to tell white supremacists. I came to tell MAGA. I came to tell white privilege. We coming, we coming, we coming.
Oh, no. Public enemy. What are you doing? They've literally become public enemy.
Give me glory. I'm gonna run them out of the State Department. If you give me glory, I'm gonna run them out of Congress and run them out of Senate. If you give me glory, I'm gonna run them off of your job.
I think he needs another cigarette.
Off of your classroom. I need you to take your neighbor's hand and say, neighbor, we gotta shout.
I want to know how many kids he has.
How many kids?
Yeah, and by how many different women?
Oh,
because usually when it comes to black preachers,
uh-huh,
there's always an illegitimate child or two.
Wow. Well, he probably
it is what it is, man. I mean, it's
but that's nutty though. It's
there's very few things I trust less than a black preacher.
That's interesting.
Al Sharpton used to be a preacher.
But those are I would agree with you for public preachers. They seem to be grifters.
No. George, private the ones they're worse, man. You know how many of them are fucking the members of their church?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
it's a whole thing, man.
We're gonna have to have a conversation about that. Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Whole thing.
It's the third preacher, reverend, minister in the last week that has either from the pulpit or from the stage declared they want people to rise up in violence against Trump, against Musk, or ask God to give you the strength to go for violence. I mean, it's just, it's nuts. And then we have
remind me to tell you about Reverend Price. And
okay. Yeah, those who do preach the loudest, they're hiding a lot, have the most to hide. Absolutely.
I have a question for the maggots. So y'all got everything you wanted, right? Presidency, majority Senate, majority House, majority Supreme Court. Every single ball that could possibly be in your court is there right now. What exactly more is it that you need in order to stop bitching about any and everything? Because I still see insidiously, y'all are madder than you were before. So much for owning the libs. Are you not happy? And this is, of course, just the exhausting beginning of what we're bound to witness unfolding over the course of the next 4 years, which is you lot having all of the power and subsequently having to reconcile with the inevitable revelation that black people, trans people, Mexican people, whoever else you have a fucking problem with for some reason, are not the root causes of your issues. You are miserable, hateful, bitter, spiteful bitches because that's who you are and always have been. We could get rid of all of the minorities, all of the queer people in this country, and your ass would still be sitting there mad as fuck, hating yourself, hating.
You know what I sometimes think? Some of these videos that are done by the tweens or 20-year-olds, they're only doing it so they can get laid.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't even know what that thing would want to fuck.
Whatever it is. But I think this one was a beautiful one, and then we will start wrapping up. Kristi Noem put this out today, and I thought it was such a powerful message.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught, you will be removed, and you will never return. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. If you break it, you'll find consequences. Strong borders mean a stronger America. President Trump is making America safe again.
I love her. I love what Trump and Musk are doing. I love what Kristi Noem is doing. Just amazing. Mr. Burger for $10. I challenge a panel to an 80s, 90s music trivia duel. George and Verbal talk to Tom about how awesome my game show is. Quiz time right after George, a Giant Slayer on YouTube. Ready. All right, everybody, you heard him. If you want to, because we're wrapping up now, go over and check out Mr. Burger. I haven't figured out how to do it technically, but to push him over. But thank you for that, Mr. Burger. Donna Hergenrether, member for 13 months, been listening on the road wild times. Always great to see you, Donna, to hear you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Eric K. Oh, we already did that. Know your rights. Yep, we did that. So we're all caught up. All right, gentlemen.
What do you have going on this week, Dante?
Might have a couple videos coming out this week. And you guys can catch me Saturday night. I'll be back with Yellow Flash.
Beautiful.
And Sunday, of course, George.
Hell yeah. And we have the video dropping this week, the Woke Monologues, which I will give a sneak peek on Saturday at a member stream called The Members First.
Nice.
What are you doing, Tom? What you got coming up?
I will be on Physical Media stream later on tonight, Midnight's Edge After Dark tomorrow night, Midnight's Edge Friday, and I'll probably be hanging out with Flash on Saturday. So yeah.
And I'll see you
all the
Sunday.
other places I'll pop up, and yeah, I'm with you on Sunday, and
Cool.
probably Salty Nerd as well on Saturday. So yeah, I'll be around.
That's a beautiful thing. And we got Mexican Iron Man for $20. I'm also pissed at Elon. DOGE found the $50 million I got from USAID from my smoking hot female Colombian sanctuary migrant resource center at my place on Hilton Head Island. F DOGE, because I was doing important work. Wow, I don't know what to say.
He lost his job at Home Depot too, I heard, because of DOGE.
I think he's going to have to import some more illegals.
He's going to have to.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm going to go have a tea because my throat is out. Next week, I promise I'll go a little bit longer. We're going to cover another section on politics, but it's just the voice is killing me. I should be 100% by next week because that would be 3.5 weeks. But I love that you're all here. Josh, great to see you. Please, everybody, go thank Eric K, King of the Mods, Lord Thoth, Olaf, all the beautiful people here. Oh, and we have Sindek, the greatest editor and brother that anyone could ever ask for. Carlos, great to see you. Soup Can, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Benjamin Jansen, great to see you. And then, of course, Istaphobos, my brother from another mother. All of you, we have one rule. We're fighters. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward.